Creation and destruction, mixing up the cycle. Hello everyone, this is Taliesin McKnight. Thank you for joining me today. And today I wanted to talk about really breaking free of just our daily cycle, because we tend to go through the same thing again and again, kind of mixing it up a little bit. I think it's very important to bring something new, often to bring something new into life, and something that we often overlook. We tend to think of life as just a constant building, is a good destructive process and breaking down. Sometimes we have to weed the garden a little bit. So life cannot just be an accumulation and building. We also have to deconstruct. There's a reason that we have the waxing and the waning of the moon. We have all these different polarities. So I think it's very useful to bring in something new, to always bring in something new, some spontaneity, which is a breath of fresh life, and also to get rid of those things that don't bring us peace, or get rid of things because we only have so much energy. So it really depends on what we set our energy upon. Now, I actually talked about this in a recent Patreon video about going with the phases of the moon. So I've often found in my own personal practice that as the moon is waning, it's a good reminder, okay, I need to cut something out. Maybe there's a bad habit, or maybe I'm in the wrong crowd or the wrong scene. Somehow I need to get rid of something that really isn't being useful so that I can save those energies, because we want to put those energies towards things that nurture us. We want to nurture those things that nurture you. So I talked about this in a recent Patreon video. By the way, I've made like 5 Patreon videos this week. I've made like 5 this week. Pretty much my cycle has been in the morning, I make a public video, and then every evening I've been making a private video for Patreon. So really, like, just half of my stuff is public, half of it's on Patreon. So if anyone is interested in supporting my channel, there's a link in the description where it says support my Patreon, and there's a link. If you click the link, it goes to my Patreon, and you can see all these hidden videos, which most, not all, but a good portion of those videos will go public after a year anyways. But if people want to keep up to date and see all the latest videos that I'm making, my Patreon gives me a way to monetize my content so that I can put more focus on this. So if anyone wants to support my channel, every night I've been doing a Patreon video. So I've done like 5 this week. So if you don't want to miss out on those videos, be sure and click the Patreon link in the description, because there's new videos on that. But recently on Patreon, I talked about, because each evening I've been doing these videos, I talked about following the phases of the moon with bringing something new in, because we tend to get in a rut and just an endless cycle, like a hamster wheel, the same thing every day, and we get set in our ways. It's like a groove. The more that we work in that groove, the deeper it gets in these habits. So I think it's good to mix it up. Every day is a new opportunity at life. And every year is a new life cycle. It's a new chance to learn a new language, or explore something new, or do something that you've never done before. And in this way, we could expand and become more than who we were before, which we always were in potential. Think of a seed. An oak, think of a seed of an oak tree or some large tree. That whole tree exists in potential in that seed. Okay? But it grows and it blooms and it becomes this massive thing. So really it's about unraveling ourselves, unraveling our own potential, and the exploration of life is an exploration of yourself. I think that there's much to be said about as above, so below. beyond just a statement, that their life is a reflection of our inner world, and our inner world reflects upon life. So the two feed one into the other. So really, the left hand tends to do something similar to what the right hand is doing. So really, if the more that we engage in life, the more we can transform ourselves consciously. And the more we transform ourselves, the more we can interact with the world. So I think it's very important to mix up the monotony, bring in something new. Start something that you've never done before. Learn guitar, learn karate, do something new. Or something that you know that you really ought to start doing that could really make your life blossom. And again, nurturing those things that nurture you. So bringing something new in is bringing in fresh air. And then we can't just create and build and build and build. Okay, this can become problematic. We have to weed the garden. We have to cut things out that aren't bringing us peace, that aren't bringing us joy. If something is causing a lot of problems, just get rid of it and then have peace. Of course, life really isn't so simple, but as a general principle, I think it's a good way to follow in general. So creation and destruction, and something that I've done for many years, since I was very young, is I look at the agricultural cycle in the year. And with that, with the planting and the harvest throughout the year, I look at each new year as a new opportunity for life. I think a lot of us, when we get older, and I talked about this in a recent video, we tend to just look at the past and look at everything we've done. We no longer look at things as a new cycle of life, but realizing that every new year is a new opportunity. It's a chance to learn a language. It's a chance to explore. It's a chance to do something absolutely amazing that we've never done before, to explore new avenues of ourselves. Because there's not just a vast universe without us, there's a vast universe within us, a vast inner cosmos for us to explore. And I mean that in every sense of the word. And really understanding all these different parts of ourselves. So creation and destruction both have a place. As I talked about in my recent Patreon, not to keep just shameless plug, but yeah, if y'all want to see those other videos, Patreon is like OnlyFans for occultists like me and vloggers. But that really supports and I really appreciate my Patreon supporters. It really means a lot. So, and we need to look at all the ingredients of our lives within ourselves, but also in our environment as like ingredients in cooking. You're serving up a dish. What am I going to make? When life gives you lemons, you have to make lemonade. You have to build something out of it. So we're not just receiving from the environment. We receive, but then our response, our inner and outer response to life, that is what we plug our own thing into the signal and it's sent back out into the network. So our responses to life, a lot of times we tend to think of magic and spells. Oh, I'm going to do a spell to fix this problem. I'm going to do a spell to fix that problem. But without doing inner work, it's like putting a Band-Aid on it. Because the same situations tend to pop up again and again. If you don't do the inner work and you just do I'm going to do a spell for this, it's like putting a Band-Aid on it. You have to do the inner work. You have to work on yourselves. And that's why, although, these traditions, some of them are kind of dying out and just being smeared over with kind of a half regurgitated understanding of occult science. That's why so many people become hardline traditionalists. I think both are important, like the left hand and the right hand. Hardcore traditionalists help to preserve these traditions so they don't just die out. And then the innovators, like both of these things go hand in hand. But what I was saying with that is that, but really, life isn't so, really it needs both, okay? We can't dismiss the inner psychological work that needs to happen as well, okay? Because as within, so without, okay? So as we work on our inner life, and really turning ourselves into life, not escaping life, doing magic and rituals and meditating and floating on a cloud, but facing ourselves into the wind, facing into life bravely and with courage, and being part of these situations. And if there's a negative situation that happens again and again, there's your lesson. Okay, you got to do something new. You got to do something different. So by doing the inner work, magic becomes a lot simpler because you're not just putting a band-aid on things, which is what some spell work really is. But if we think of things as really, when life presents you with something, it's really your response. And I think just simple smiling, being able to smile at life, smile at situations, smile inwardly, the inner smile, is a Taoist practice. And, many people are familiar with, Master Mantak Chia, but he was one of many people to talk about this. It's been a practice for 1,500 years, way before any one person living now. But this inner smile practice, I think, is very useful to just smile within, to practice the inner smile on the way to work. Let's say it's a 15-minute drive to work every day and 15 minutes back. Just say, during the drive, I'm going to practice the inner smile. And this becomes contagious as we respond to life inwardly and also externally. We can't just go around smiling all the time. We have to go engage in life. But by facing life, like, this is the inner work. Outer work is inner work. As we engage in life, it makes us stronger. And remember that we gain strength through resistance. So creation and destruction, bringing something new and also weeding and getting rid of, and thinking about life as a grand recipe. We have all these ingredients. What do we make with it? And a lot of that has to do with our responses. So that is just a quick video for y'all. I felt the need to touch upon this. And then more Patreon video. Like I said, each night I've been doing Patreon videos, and each morning I've been doing these public ones, each evening that. A lot of those will go public after a year, but if people want to keep up to date, it really supports my my work. But all right, Agimang Casper. So, I hope I said that correctly. Says, I truly like your page. Well, thank you so much. That really means a lot. I really appreciate it. It's a pleasure to have you here, and I'm glad that you are joining me with this, not just in these videos, but in the life journey. Because, while you guys are going to work or whatever you're doing, you may listen to a video, like, that helps y'all. And then, like, I see y'all's stuff too, and when I post, like, we are interacting, Like, it's interactive. Life is interactive. It's a give and a take. It's a yin and a yang. It's a masculine and a feminine. It's a left hand and the right hand, and within and without. And these dualities, and looking at the unity that connect these things. So really thinking about not just drawing within and escaping life itself is inner work. We work both things. So the more we engage in life, the more we can grow inwardly. And the more we grow inwardly, the better we can do in life. And that never comes from running away. It comes from facing bravely and engaging. So that's just a quick video for y'all. And thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate y'all very much. And I really appreciate my Patreon supporters. And I will see y'all in the next video. Have a wonderful day, everybody.